5 Zen stories, total length 20 minutes. 1. The teacup is full. A young sage traveled to a famous Zen master to learn the truth of life. I have studied Buddhism, read many sutras, and practiced meditation for many years, said the young sage. The Grand Master didn't say anything, he just smiled and poured tea into the young sage's cup. The water was full, but he kept pouring until it overflowed. Master, the water is overflowing. The young sage shouted. The Grand Master replied, just like your mind, it is full of thoughts, knowledge and ego. If you don't pour out the old water first, how can you receive the new? Moral. Only an open mind can perceive the truth. 2. The sound of one hand. The young disciple asked the Grand Master, Master, what is the sound of clapping? The Grand Master clapped his hands to show him, this is the sound of 2 hands. Then what is the sound of 1 hand? The disciple asked. The Grand Master smiled and replied, find the answer yourself. The young disciple pondered for several months but could not find an answer, so he returned to his master. The Grand Master looked at the young disciple and said, when you stop trying to reason, you will hear the sound of 1 hand. The young disciple was silent for a moment, and in that silence, he understood the truth. Moral. Truth cannot be understood by reason alone. It must be experienced with the heart. 3. A bridge without a bridge. A disciple once asked his Zen master, how far must I walk on the path of Dharma? The teacher smiled and replied, if you are looking for a bridge, I will tell you that there is no bridge. The disciple was shocked. If there is no bridge, how can I cross? The teacher said, when you stop looking for the bridge, you will find that you have already crossed it. Moral. When we stop searching for external answers, we find that the answers are within ourselves. 4. A mountain is not a mountain. There was a disciple who went on a journey to study Dharma for many years. One day he returned to his teacher and said, Master, when I hadn't studied the Dharma, I saw mountains as mountains and rivers as rivers. But when I started studying the Dharma, I realized that mountains are not mountains and rivers are not rivers. The teacher nodded. What about now? The disciple replied with a smile, now I can see mountains as mountains and rivers as rivers again. The teacher laughed and said, excellent. Now you truly understand the Dharma. Thought. Understanding the truth goes through 3 steps, superficial seeing, questioning until confused, and truly understanding. 5. Ice and water. A disciple asked his teacher, what is truth? The teacher picked up a piece of ice and said, this is water. The disciple shook his head. But this is ice. The teacher put the ice in the sun. After a while, it melted and turned into water. Do you understand now? The teacher asked. The disciple nodded. Indeed, ice and water are the same thing. The teacher said, it's like our mind. When it's solid, it seems to have a fixed shape. But when it melts, it returns to its original state. Moral. Forms of things are just illusions. The essence always remains the same. Summarize. Each Zen story teaches us to practice mindfulness, be open-minded, accept change, and find the truth for ourselves instead of clinging to old ideas. All of this can be told in about 20 minutes, using a rhythmic narrative style that allows the listener to think.